in an essay that I wrote in middle school. It was about Edgar Allan Poe and the Heart Story, I think. I included a paragraph that rhymed. I was very proud of it, because the paragraph was about Allan Poe's song-like writing style, and the paragraph was song-like itself. Lyrical, if you will. I was very proud of it and turned it in, and expected high praise, but what I didn't expect was two big red lines crossed over each other and an X right over the page. I tried to read it aloud to the teacher. Listen to how it feels in the mouth. Listen to how it feels, how it makes you feel. Because to me, essay writing became a thing of beauty when I could write in rhyme and write in time into my words because I thought they sounded best fast. And then those two big red lines crossed over each other in the shape of an X told me no. The plink of writing ferociously fast and high and the plonk of standing still, taking your time, makes me feel so... something. But then I'm told to be more structured, specific, and clear in my writing, as that is what academic writing requires. But it isn't what's beautiful. The distillation of ideas, the musicality of language. I don't want the bubbling specifics, or the babbling nuances, or the gurgling, detailed explanations. I want the rapid rushing flux of the feelings of ideas. Because I don't remember the literary allusions discussed in I remember now, the Telltale Heart. But I do remember how rhyming that paragraph made me feel. Human beings, despite scientifically being classified as animals, are decidedly different creatures from the rest of the kingdom. The most basic differing factor is the human brain, which places us leagues ahead of the competition, intellectually. Historian Yuval Noah Harari says that the primary reason our brains make us superior is that they give us the ability to talk about entire kinds of entities that we've never seen, touched, or smelled. The ability to tell stories. Harari goes on to explain that stories, he uses stories, fictions, and myths interchangeably, that we hold in our collective consciousnesses are the reason we can band together into larger groups, beyond simple tribes. Stories, in short, are the building blocks of civilization. The first stories, as you might assume, were purely spoken. Humans have been telling them for around 70,000 years, according to Harari, but writing only dates back to around 5,000 years. As such, the first written stories were ones that were transcribed from oral tradition, such as the Ramayana and the Mahabharata, the Iliad, and the oldest piece of literature we know of, the Epic of Gilgamesh. The Epic of Gilgamesh, for example, has been around for at least 4,000 years, but the version most known was written around the 12th century by an entirely different civilization than the one that created it. All four of the works cited above have in common that they are orally poetic, lyrical even, but for very practical purposes. Poetry is easier to remember. It's so for two reasons. First, rhythm and repetition make long stories easier to remember, and second, poetry is more interesting. It's easier to auditorily capture an audience if what you're saying sounds exciting to listen to, and oral poetry achieves just that. I love how italicization makes me feel, how underlining makes me feel, how semicolons and commas and overused em dashes make me feel. I guess it's because of how I read, how I speak writing to myself. When I read, I'm a great performer in a hall of thousands reading from a script, and that script is my essay or my research paper or my short story, and the grammar is my stage direction. I speak writing because writing is meant to be spoken. To yourself, to others, whispered in your head, or shouted to a crowd. I give my words voice, my grammar voice, my punctuation voice. I work to give my writing purpose beyond the Merriam-Webster. Lyrical writing is supercharged writing. It is expression in its purest form, to me at least. It can be stream of consciousness, it can be poetry disguised as prose, it can be including an essay on ancient literature in the middle of your essay. My writing can be a million things, and that is why I love it. But my writing should be something that can be read aloud, that can be shared, that can be spoken exactly as I had intended it to be. There's something magical, I think, about being bonded to somebody you've never met by something that neither of you can see, touch, or smell.